All right, now that you understand why this matters, let's get practical. I'm going to walk you through the exact steps to embodying a way of being so you can shift from overdoing to intentionally living. Let's say you want to embody one of my favorites, which is freedom. Freedom is letting go of the pressure and stepping into ease. Okay, so step one, recognizing the pattern. First, you need to notice where you're overdoing. Ask yourself, where am I working too hard for validation? Where am I proving myself instead of being myself? So for example, let's say you're constantly staying late at work, not because you have to, but because you feel like you need to be seen as valuable. That's a pattern. And the cost, that's easy. It's exhaustion, missing out on the time with loved ones, and reinforcing the belief that you're only as good as what you produce. Step two, choose a way of being instead of operating from that pattern. You consciously choose who you want to be. In this case, being free, which means releasing the need to prove and allowing yourself to just be. Step three, embodying it. This is where transformation happens. You don't just think about being free, you feel it. It's in your mind and you affirm it. I am free to choose what matters. In your body, you relax your shoulders, you take a deep breath, and notice how freedom actually feels physically. Sometimes I like to think about when was the last time I felt truly free, and then let that sink in first. In your heart, you tap into the sense of lightness, like you just dropped a heavy backpack. So you get out of your head and you allow yourself to feel into your heart. One of the tricks that I use to get out of my head and get into my heart is I think about little babies. I mean, I cannot think about a chubby little baby and stay in my head with that. So it's whatever it is for you. Puppies, it's whatever it is for you. Puppies, kitties, whatever gets you in your heart. Thinking of old people, right? I like to go a step further and I pick an avatar, a person who represents, in this case, freedom, the way I want to be free. When I'm in a situation that feels like a trap, I can pull out my avatar in my head and literally embody and wear that energy until it feels authentic to me. Everyone who works with me knows that my avatar is Dolly Parton. She represents from writing over 4,000 songs to her 55 plus year marriage in a complete autonomy to choosing every aspect of how she looks. She is my avatar. So when I want to feel, in my supporter, authentic, powerful, loving, that's whose energy I embody. And then step four, and keep in mind you can reflect back in your workbook, act from it. Now take action from this new way of being. If you were stuck in overworking, maybe today you decide, I'm gonna close my laptop at 5 p.m. without any guilt. That's important. No fault, shame, guilt, blame. No second guessing. Freedom is actually a choice. All of these ways of being, we choose them. Sometimes we choose them in each minute if we're struggling. Sometimes we choose them in each hour, and we definitely choose them daily. So just because you chose it one day and were successful doesn't mean you can get lazy and not choose powerfully the next day, especially if this is a pattern for you and it's something that you're breaking up the cycle for. So step five, reflect. At the end of the day, you must check in. How did it feel? What worked? What didn't work? Maybe you had more energy, you were present with your family, or you simply felt lighter. That's the power of embodiment. You'll start to notice if you put enough days together that you'll have things that are working, especially if you're embodying freedom. So now this takes practice, but when you commit to it, your entire way of showing up in the world changes. In the next video, I'll walk you through different ways of being that you can choose from. So you can start applying this in every area of your life, because how we show up in one area is how we show up everywhere. Start embodying freedom the way I outlined with these steps. You put enough days together, before you know it, you're actually being a free person.